Welcome to another episode, everyone. And this is part 2 of LA gang members hit the armored truck and it ends in a bloodbath. When we left off in part 1, 2 individuals from West Boulevard Crip, one of the individuals from West Boulevard Crip's brother, who was from Black Pt.2, an individual from East Coast Crip, and an unidentified individual as far as gangs are concerned. 5 individuals are in this crew together. They've hit 3 armored trucks so far. They got over $1 million from one of the hits, yet they haven't stopped. The police have got on to their white Tahoe because they've been driving around hitting these licks with this white Tahoe. Let's pick it up from there.
The night before the robbery at 11 p.m., the silver Chevy Equinox that was used at the robbery makes an appearance in the West Boulevards. It slows down in front of the house, and 5 minutes later, Puda emerges and is seen speaking with 2 unidentified males, one of them wearing a security guard uniform. The other unidentified male was wearing some Jordans, resembling those worn by Suspect 2 in the Bank of America robbery. At 11:59 p.m., the white Chevy Tahoe makes an appearance, and it drives off Chesapeake, followed by the Equinox. On the day of the Bank of America robbery, at 2:45 p.m., a few hours after it occurred, Puda pulls up in the white Tahoe, and he's wearing different shoes than the ones he left wearing, and now he's carrying a white plastic grocery bag. He goes to the backyard, placed the bag under a table, then he came back later and placed it carefully in a trash can. They popped the camera onto the PLS robbery off La Brea and Jefferson. September 14, 2022, 12:59 p.m. Puda again pulls up in the Tahoe. And later that night, the gray Ford Explorer, the vehicle that they jumped out of when they pointed that green laser. And on the day of the robbery, about 25 minutes before it occurred, September 15th, 2022, surveillance camera again shows Puda. And it also shows Nabi wearing black sweatpants and the same shoes worn by Suspect 2 in the robbery. Now on this day, they seen Nabi pull up in a white Honda Accord, resembling the same vehicle used in the Westcom robbery back in February of 2022. And 15 minutes before the robbery, it shows the Westcom Honda, the gray Ford Explorer, and the Chevy Tahoe spinning off Chesapeake Avenue, which was 0.7 miles away from the target location. But even with all this footage, the Chesapeake bandits weren't done. Now, even though the DVR did not contain any evidence of this crew being on Chesapeake at the time of the Westcom robbery, Special Agent Cardenas still pressed Nabi in the backseat of that car. She boxed him in with irrefutable evidence that him and his people was behind that robbery.
So I want to talk to you.
Yeah, and that's why you shouldn't be talking to them anyway, especially when you know you're guilty and you done did something. So these individuals, as we know from part 1, again, and drove around in this white Tahoe, and they taking down the license plates. They know where they live, and they continuously prefer to drive this white Tahoe, even though it's been cited at different crime scenes. And now and they got caught up because one individual, this dude Navi here from from Black Pt.2, has a tattoo on his back, which they seen at one of the crime scenes. And now we see the other individual has the same shoes on and that the camera caught a glimpse of at one of the crime scenes. They're making mistake after mistake after mistake. Now he's in the back of the police car and he's talking too much.
First, about the February 14th Valentine's Day robbery. So, at Westcom, we have you and your brother on video about 3 weeks prior.
Okay.
You're taking pictures of the driver the same exact time that the robbery happens on the 14th. And the way you're talking to me about what happened with that other robbery, I'm like, damn, because I could see this happening again, and I'll show you why. That's your tattoo right there. That's your back. That's your hip. This is the surveillance video from the February 14th robbery. I'll show you the picture from... Like I said, I'm not going to BS you and tell you things I have if I don't have it. This is you and your half-brother, James. He goes by something else. So, we're talking to him right now. We're talking to your dad. for talking to your other brother.
3 months after the Chesapeake house is raided, we right outside the West Boulevards again, in the Biddy Stones, off Crenshaw and Obama. At 7:15 in the morning, a Brinks armored truck is doing its rounds.
So they're on to these dudes. The police have raided their house. They have some little crew, the Chesapeake something, the Chesapeake boys or something, because they live on Chesapeake, the two brothers. Have to go back and check out part 1 to get caught up, I suppose. And she's telling him, after they raid his home, the FBI, all kind of people raided their house, got him in the back of the police car and say, we know, we got you, we got a still picture of your tattoo, we got you on camera, your tattoo, we know you did it. Yeah, okay, They let him go because this is what the feds do. They're going to give you enough rope to hang yourself. They let him go to continue to build their case on them. Even though they already have these individuals dead bang, really, they want to get more charges on them. So now they didn't let him go, and now 3 months later, they're about to hit another armored truck, even though the feds are on them. Then raided their house, got their car. They're not done.
1.5 miles away from the Bank of America and PLS check cashers. Everything is close by. When the Brinks truck employee arrives, an individual known in the paperwork as FV, he says when he jumped out, he saw a black sedan, which turned out to be a black Kia K5. 2 men jump out of the Kia holding guns. They order FB to the ground and tell him to lay down face down. Like clockwork, they remove his pistol from his holster and they take his keys and his money bag. Surveillance video from inside of the Brinks truck showed the suspect grabbing money out of the truck with what the feds say was a similar build to the individual that went inside the Brinks truck at PLS back in September of 2022. After getting out the Brinks truck, both the suspects jumped back into the Kia K5 with the driver waiting. An undisclosed amount of money was taken on this robbery on January 9th of 2023, and the Chesapeake bandits thought they were smarter than the police after already being caught for the 3rd robbery. The feds pulled the plug after this last one. In a little bit over a month, they bust back into Chesapeake and again collect more surveillance footage, and this time on February 21st, 2023, Denavis Hobson, also known as Nobby from BPS, is taken down by the feds. Now the feds went ahead and cut the surveillance camera on to this 99-cent store robbery. Yet again, it showed the white Tahoe with the Kia K5. Later in the evening after the robbery, a large male whose build is consistent with Puda's is seen getting out of the Kia. They also see the Ford Explorer making another appearance, the same one used at the La Brea robbery. And the feds got 2 out of 5 members of the Chesapeake bandits all the way sold up. Now, when they went to take Puda down, they caught him in traffic and pulled up to the side of the car. Puda rolled the window down, started talking shit, and ended up doing the dash on the feds. They end up putting up a $25,000 reward. And when they sniffed him out, they put together a tactical operation plan. They laid out the floor plan where they believed him to be at. They also mapped out the closest hospital just in case they had to fire him up. He was ducked off by the Ontario Mills Mall, and a team of FBI, gang unit, and Metro LAPD took Puda down without incident on March 8th of 2023. But what the feds didn't know is that the remaining members of the Chesapeake bandits, JD, Zeph, and D. Isaac, were still looking to run that bag up. But 3 weeks after Puda goes down, March 23rd, 2023, the feds get a phone call, and it's what's referred to as a tipster. But we're gonna keep it clean. This was a confidential witness with the initials of J.A., somebody who was very close to the West Boulevards and still has not been uncovered. J.A. stated that he wanted to talk to the FBI. He stated that he recognized Puda's mannerisms based on news coverage, and he said Puda is the one that's been hitting the ATMs. Now, J.A. never mentioned Nobby's name, even though him and Puda are brothers, but he said he also recognized other mannerisms of other individuals, alluding to Zeph Rocco and JD. And he said those members have also participated in these armored truck robberies. The confidential witness also told the FBI that Puda was a part of a criminal group who would meet daily on Chesapeake Avenue. And he recounted one time where the group had hit an ATM and somebody was complaining about only getting $5K. So this is...
Yeah, and that's how it goes when you're doing these sort of things with other people. You run the risk of them running their mouth. even if it is not them snitching on you, but instead just pillow talking, telling people what they're out there doing, how they're out here hitting these armored trucks, how they're out here getting all of this money, they're flossing all of their money. And then the people who they tell, go and tell. You over here minding your own business, you cool, you ain't said nothing to no one, but because these individuals want to floss and put themselves out there, you end up getting caught up as well when you commit crimes with other people like this.
Somebody who is very close to not only the West Boulevards on Chesapeake, but also very close to the Chesapeake bandits as a robbery crew. This is somebody that was probably participating, and he was probably the individual that was mad about having a shortcut, and now he's on the Fed's line. Again, this man has the initials of J.A., and at the time that he called the FBI, he had previous arrests for theft and inappropriate crimes against a child. This is a bad dude. But again, with Puda and Nabi out of the picture in February and in March of 2023, it's time for the back-end players to step up. On the morning of June 10th, 2023, 3 months after the top two members go down, a Brinks armored truck is pulling up on Florence and Crenshaw at the 7-Eleven. It's broad daylight, a busy intersection, and as the Brinks guard is coming out of the business, an older model Lexus SUV pulls up with J.D. Young jumping out the passenger seat in a white painter suit holding an assault rifle. The Isaac Jones and Zeph Rocco are also in attendance. They jump out on this Brinks truck, and it takes them less than 20 seconds to get what they came over here for. They pushed the driver to the ground, took the bag of cash. JD kept the rifle pointed while saying, "Let's go," and hurry up. The Lexus, which was registered to an Arkansas business, was found abandoned in a nearby alley. But the remaining crew members only got away with $15,000 on this move. But with the pressure building up, they know that the feds are closing in. 17 days later, June 27, 2023, JD, Zeph, and D. Isaac strike again. This time, they went all the way to Reseda to a top.
Damn, so they know the feds are closing in, but that hasn't deterred them at all. They still out here hitting these armored trucks like it's going out of style. Their two main members are locked up, but they say we're going to carry on the tradition and continue to chase the bag. And apparently, they know that the feds are on to them, right? They got their two main members locked up. The feds then came and did a raid on them and got them, slammed them down. So the writing's on the wall, and they know that soon they're coming for them too. Apparently, they feel like we may as well go and get our money because we're cooked. Oh, my goodness.
Bail off Reseda Boulevard. The stolen vehicle of choice this time was a Toyota CHR, but it had West Boulevard written all over it. It was stolen just hours before in the West Adams neighborhood. Now, during this 17-day stint, where the remaining bandits pulled off 2 robberies, J.D. Young had been pulled over and he was arrested on suspicion of possessing a gun as a felon. Inside his truck, police found more than $10,000 in cash and what they call similar to the manner in which Brinks bundles their money. JD told the officers he'd recently bought the truck and moved into a new apartment in Windsor Hills. But JD was already familiar to the feds. When they combed through Nabi and Puda's phones, they found that they were communicating with JD during the previous robberies. And when detectives got JD's phone, the warrant showed that he was near the 7-Eleven off Crenshaw and Florence and in the area of the Taco Bell just a week after the robbery on Crenshaw and Florence, casing the Taco Bell before the heist.
Crash, get behind me. 200 on the dash, do you think they can catch me? Hell nah. If they can't catch me, no, they can't find me. I am so icy, posted in the hood with the burner at the stove.
Now, while the police are gathering information, trying to stick JD all the way into the feds with Nabi and Puda, a final robbery that was linked to the Chesapeake bandits took place on October 16th. Another Brinks driver, another ATM in South LA.
Damn.
And with that going down, detectives geared up to take down JD Young. But before they could get to him, somebody else did. On December 20th, 2023, 4 o'clock in the morning, JD is laying on his side on Fairfax Avenue with a bullet to the head. Fairfax wasn't the crime scene. They figured out that JD was killed at another location and he was dumped on the side of the road at the end of the Chesapeake bandit run.
Damn.
Now, if you ask me, this is not a coincidence. A couple months before this, JD is arrested. The police go through his phone. He's in contact with people that are sitting in the feds. A lot of money is on the table. and JD ends up dead. Now, it's not abundantly clear if the back door was all the way open. Everything indicates to it being that way, but we gotta remember, the West Boulevards are still in some beef. But either way, how the feds see it, now that he was out the way, it was time to take down the next member.
Well, yeah, that sounds a little suspect, I would say. Right when the feds are closing in on him, because he's still out here doing his thing, making videos about it, rapping about it, and they're going to use this as evidence. He's putting it all out there, these crimes that they're committing, talking about blue hunteds, made a video talking about blue hunteds, and has all of these weird women with him singing and dancing, looking foolish. So since he's putting it out there and these dudes are locked up and they haven't been found guilty yet by this time for sure, this is just a few months later, as we can see, he ends up with one in the head. He's gone. He's out of the way as far as they're concerned. You can't get locked up and then snitch on them.
Of the Chesapeake bandits. When they continued to look through JD's phone, they found communications between him and Zeph Rocco. These specific communications were during the 7-Eleven robbery on Florence and Crenshaw and the Taco Bell robbery on Reseda Boulevard. When they took a closer look into Zeph, his iCloud account depicted photographs of guns resembling those used in the robberies. Zeph also shared a picture of him having a large amount of money on the same day as the Taco Bell robbery. And with Zeph being suspected of being involved in multiple robberies, at 3:30 a.m., March 21st, 2024, LAPD robbery homicide and SWAT are outside of Zeph's apartment in Reseda. They noted that Zeph was armed and dangerous. He's been seen with AR-15 style rifles with enhanced optics, high-capacity magazines, and armor-piercing ammunition. So they took no chances with Zeph. After pulling up the Bearcat, they used the bullhorn to call Zeph at 4:47 in the morning. He's in apartment 308, and they're at the door knocking on it. Zeph didn't answer, and the police called his phone 17 times. When he answered, he still sounded asleep. The police identified themselves and told him to come out and surrender. He hung up. This is when SWAT put the drone in the air, as Zeph was on the 3rd floor to try to get a better look inside his unit. And this is when Zeph Rocco climbed onto the roof, grabbed the police drone, and threw it off the roof before returning back to his apartment. After a 2-hour standoff, 5:10 a.m., Zeph Rocco climbs over the 3rd-story balcony, armed with an assault rifle, and he jumps off. He took a 35-foot dive, and after hitting the ground, he lost control of the rifle. As officer body cam depicts, Zeph begins reaching to the rifle, attempting to manipulate it and fire on the officers. And as he rose to his knees, the police put a bullet in Zeph Rocco's head, killing him after a 2-hour standoff. The 4th member wrapped up in the Chesapeake bandits robbery crew.
Wow, wrapped up is right. Dang, he didn't just... Bro, you didn't jumped off the building with the rifle. Yeah, you're going to lose control of it. You're going to just keep it in your hand after your body shakes like that after going down 35 feet. And then once you drop with the rifle not in your possession anymore, it's time to just go ahead and prone out. Kick it away from you. Hey, throw your hands up or something. Unless he was just determined not to go back. Remember, all of these individuals, all 5 of them had already done time. Some had did, one that did 17 years, one that did 12 years, one that did 27 years. They all had did decades in prison. So, okay. JD ends up dead with a bullet in his head. And now Zeph, this individual here from East Coast, he has one in his head put on by the police. As he didn't jump and start reaching for the weapon. It's all right here. Well, yeah. And that weapon can pierce body armor, bulletproof vest and all that. They're not about to take that chance and let you get a hold of that weapon and turn around and shoot it. They're going to take you out.
Hey, he's climbing down. He's climbing down. Hey, get back inside. Get back inside. He's got a gun. Don't reach for it. Don't reach for it. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Stop reaching for it. Stop reaching for it. Don't move.
Now, when they reached Zeph, They still handcuffed him, shipped him off in the ambulance, and when they searched his house, they found a modified AR-15, amongst other weapons, similar to the ones used in the robberies. Now still sitting in the feds, Puda and Nabi are now moved through the legal system. While Nabi is in custody, he's caught on the jail phone. He's talking to an unidentified man, and he spoke about how there was another robbery that they didn't get charged for. The $1 million robbery at Hustler's Casino. Over the federal line, Nabi took responsibility for that robbery. He said that was the Chesapeake bandits on the play. Now, 3 months after Zeph took a bullet to the head, Rose called it quits. He takes a plea deal. He took responsibility as being the lookout.
Why would you do that? Why would you get on a phone call, a jail phone call, where they make it clear that the call is being recorded? By law, they had to let you know that the call is being recorded. So they're letting you know that the call is recorded and take accountability for a robbery that you're not in jail for, that they don't have you charged with, because that was the biggest robbery that they had done. The $1 million heist of the Hustlers Casino in Gardena, California. The other ones, one had netted $375,000, one $100,000, one $92,000 and some change. So, is this braggadocio? You just want to brag that you hit $1 million lick as well, that you got away with it? Like, hey, they ain't got us for that. They still don't have that money. We got $1 million too. You on the phone to them? Yeah, we got $1 million too though. Yeah, we got away with it, hitting a lick, hit a whole casino and got $1 million. They don't know nothing about that. What they do now? You on the phone?
Out for the Westcom robbery. Mind you, if it wasn't for that robbery, they may have never ended up in this situation sitting.
Exactly, yeah. From the beginning, and for those who didn't see part one, from the beginning they messed up when they went to the first credit union and were casing a joint for an hour and a half in a big old white towel. They were just casing a joint. They caught on to them, called the police. Police put them over, let them go, but they got on to them from there. And they just, even though they knew that the police were on to them, they still went and hit that same credit union where they had got caught casing the joint days later. And it went downhill from there. The police they started watching them. They put trackers on their cars and they couldn't get away with this. But look how it all ends. 2 of them in jail, speaking on the case, on the recording line, 2 of them dead.
In the feds in the first place. That initial encounter where they were casing the bank wrapped them up beyond a reasonable doubt. With confidential witnesses making statements on Puda, he had nowhere to turn. He tried to use the caveat that we spoke about earlier in the video, the fact that some of the money technically didn't belong to a federal institution. By winning that argument, that would decrease Puda's points in his federal sentencing guidelines. But it didn't seem to work. On June 7, 2024, James Davis Jr., also known as Puda, received a 166-month sentence and $166,000 in restitution for the robberies committed in the city of LA. But his brother wasn't happy. He was caught on the phone speaking to their cousin in what the feds say was a scare tactic, trying not to get Puda to take a deal because he wanted to take it to trial. Puda's admission of guilt would paint Nabi in a specific light that would be unfavorable for a jury. But nonetheless, he still showed up for a jury trial November 2024.
Well, that was foolish. And I don't know why you want Puda not to take a deal to take it to trial, because they have all sorts of evidence against you all. I don't see how you're going to win it in trial. They got your tattoo. They can see your tattoo. This individual here now, they got his tattoo on the photo, on camera. When he bent over and his shirt had lifted up, and they seen his tattoo. They seen him inside of the truck. They have phone records. It's all bad. You want Puda to go to trial and get a life sentence or something? Because he's apparently feeling like, I can't beat this case. They got us. I'm about to take a deal and try to get some kind of time left of my life by the time I come home. Go to trial and get cooked? No. So he's upset with Puda for going to trial. I understand, because if he's pleading guilty, if you plead guilty and I'm your crimee, that means I'm guilty too, as far as they're concerned. So I get that. It's like, I don't want to plead guilty. I'm going to trial. And you pleading guilty, it makes me look guilty. hey man, I'm sorry, but I'm finna take this damn deal. They got us dead bang. So he doesn't take the deal. He then went on and went to trial. Let's see what happened to him. Let's see if Puda was right by taking the deal instead of going to trial and getting 160 months, which is still a lot of time.
Now, besides the casing, the straw that broke the camel's back in this whole situation was Nabi's back tattoo. That's what the prosecution hung their hat on. Nabi was a member of BPS. He has a 5-point star, but a familiar name was called by the defense to help Nabi, Alex Alonso from Street TV. Alex was called as an expert gang witness to prove the defense's allegation that the United States government had tunnel vision when focusing on Nabi and not taking into account that other members of BPS and Hoover and other hoods throughout LA would also don the same star tattoo. His secondary defense was to throw his brother under the bus. His lawyer claimed that he was just a passenger when they cased Westcom at the beginning of this investigation. His lawyer stated that it was Puda's idea to case the bank. Nabi was just along for the ride.
Oh.
And the Chesapeake bandits did a good job with turning their cell phones off before the move. The only time the cell phones were on was when they were pulled over for the casing. But the feds pulled in a cellular analyst.
Bro, they didn't throw the brother under the bus? Well, I guess maybe his thought process is Puda already took his deal. He already got his time. They can still call him back in the court, though. You know, every man for himself. It's 5 of them together. When everything is going right and they hitting these licks and they getting these hundreds of thousands, it's all gravy. But when the stuff hits the fan, one gets a lot of time, 15, 16 years. 2 of them dead, get shot in the head. And then now you got this dude. And now it's every man for himself.
And he spoke about what's called a timing advance. That's how the cell tower calculates the distance the phone is from that specific tower. And this is how they still link individuals to a crime once their phone is turned back on after the crime takes place. And this is how they prove Nabi's location being at the scene of the robbery. None of his defenses worked, and Nabi was found guilty in his jury trial November 19, 2024. Now, with him already being on parole at this time, this wasn't a good look. He tried to blame it on cocaine being in the system when he was born, his mother being a drug addict, and child services removing him and Dennis from the home when he was 10 years old. But it all fell on deaf ears. This year, May 29, 2026, Nabi was sentenced to 308 months in federal prison. Since he was 15, he's only seen 3 years of the outside world. And with this sentence, he'll more than likely never see it again. Now, when it comes to the last player, the barber, Isaac Jones, he was arrested October 27.
Yeah, okay. Not good. Turns out your brother was on to something. Puda was on to something. He got half of that time. He took a deal for 160 months. Did Puda, his brother. He was upset about that. Was Nabi, didn't want him to take that deal, as we just heard. And said, no, you should have went to trial. I'm going to trial. Okay, he went to trial, got found guilty. Say that he had cocaine in his system when he was born. What the hell I got to do with a robbery? I don't get it. But okay, that was his defense. That's what you went to trial for? To tell him you was born a cocaine baby? And so you should be found not guilty, or you shouldn't get that much time? Booked him and gave him 308 months. This is an individual that had went to jail when he was 15. He did 17 years, got out when he was 32. Not long after he was out, did he start committing these armored truck robberies. I guess I don't have to say allegedly. He essentially admitted to it in court. Puda admitted to it, took a deal. Nabi admitted to it, said that he did it, but the reason he did it because he was born with cocaine in his system. Did 17 years, was out not long, and now has 308 months, never getting out again. At his age, I don't think. Wow. Oh, man.
25. But his problems came when his DNA was found in the getaway vehicle used on the robberies with Zeph and JD. Now, he seemingly dodged the feds. This was a state case. But this year, June 29, 2026, the same day Nabi was sentenced, he was sent to a level 4 state prison, convicted on his charges of robbery as the last member of the Chesapeake bandits. Now, as you see, a lot of mistakes were made, but this was some high-level shit. 3 out of 5 of these dudes previously were sitting down for extended periods of time to perfect their craft. And if what Nabi was saying was true, and that they were on the Hustler Casino robbery, they struck for $1.5 million in straight cash. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned for the rest of the series.
Okay. That's Rap News and Street Politics. Shout out to him. Best hood YouTube channel. I pretty much agree with that. He has all of his facts together. He's very thorough and detailed. But there you have it, man. One ends up on a level 4 prison. Navi ends up with 308 months. His brother ended up with 160 months. And 2 of them dead. So even though they hit for 1.5 million, it doesn't matter. First of all, that's about 300,000 apiece. It's 5 of them. Okay, so it's not 1.5 million. You got 300,000, and this is over a 1-year period, basically. So you spending the money, you're doing all that. By the time you get arrested, you got $20,000, $15,000. Not worth it. Not worth 308 months. Not worth 160 months. Not worth your life. And that's what ended up happening. They didn't get to enjoy the money. It's not that much money, and even if it were, they didn't get to enjoy it and live free, stress-free, not having to work, police watching you and coming for you. Just enjoy the fruits of your labor because you earned the money. That's not what happened there. It was a horrific life from the beginning because the police were owning them, watching them. And then when it was all said and done, they all got took down and it ended horribly for all of them, indicating that it is not worth it. No amount of money. And that's not a lot of money. 1.5 million between 5 people over a year time. It's not. Certainly not worth the aftermath. 2 of them with bullets to the head. All the rest of them in prison. That's it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Stay safe and stay free, people.